I don't know what I want to read this week. I feel like there's too many options, too many books that I'm excited for. So instead of me choosing, I'm letting you pick my reads through polls everywhere on social media. It's also week 2 of Realmathon, which is a competitive team-based readathon that I run every single year in March. It's kind of just this huge, big community event. I'll leave the announcement video linked down below, where every single book you read adds points to your team or can take away points from another team. It's kind of fun to have my reading feel like a bigger thing, like it feels a part of this huge thing. And also there's like a Discord where y'all yap and where a lot of my polls are going to be happening. It's not too late to participate at the time of seeing this video. If you've ever been interested in like gamifying your reading or trying a readathon, I will toot my own horn. I think Realmathon is an amazing one to start with because it is a mood reader's heaven. Like you can pick a TBR, but personally what I do is I read a book and then I prompt shop afterwards. Like I read the book and then afterwards I'm like, okay, what prompts fit it? Instead of trying to force myself to read things since I'm such a mood reader. So yeah, leaving that all down below. But I know no matter what is picked for me this week, it will count for points and I'm really excited. I tend to get a little bit competitive during readathon season, especially with my own readathon, because I love taking away points from other people's teams. It just makes me feel like the evil supervillain at the end. I need like a menacing laugh. But I did set up my first poll this morning and now it's time to figure out what won. I haven't seen it yet, so let's check. Okay, currently, oh guys, this is not what I expected. I did give the hint that the emoji I used for the emoji pool did match the book, and so new sequel, no, I guess I was technically wrong. It's supposed to be City of Ashes, but for some reason I thought the second book was called City of Glass, so maybe that's why it didn't win. I should have put like fire or something, but I thought it was called City of Glass, so that's why I put like a little glass emoji. An author's debut was This Safe Darkness, which is a dystopian I'm really excited about. The one that won is actually the newest release from an author I loved, which is Hollow by Caroline Peckham and Susan Valenti, which I am very, very excited to get into. I might have to do a second poll for an audiobook. And then the last book that I had was an anticipated arc, which I was putting This Wretched Alchemy, which I'm very, very, very excited for that. That one looks insane and incredible, and I was lucky enough to get an e-arc of it. So I am still excited for that, but I am very, very excited for this. And I know my friend Lexi is curious to see if I like this, because if I do, she wants to get this like gorgeous edition. And I do trust these two people, these two authors, with my soul. I trust them to rip it out a bunch of times, but I trust them to give me one of the best reading experiences ever. So I'm very, very excited to try this one. And I guess that's what I'll be doing first. Damn, that was not what I was expecting. I was fully expecting to read City of Ashes, but I guess that was my own fault because I put the glass emoji. This will probably go on my audiobook poll. You're probably gonna see some repeat books, but I do like the audiobooks for this, so I'm probably gonna listen to them anyways, no matter if this won physical or not. But I think I would like an audiobook for tonight as well, while I'm like cooking and stuff, and I have some laundry to put away. But this also might have an audiobook. I don't know, but we'll put a second poll up somewhere, maybe on Instagram. 144 pages into Hollow. That puts me at chapter 12, and this reads so differently than Zodiac Academy does. This has more of a lyrical writing, a little bit more descriptive. It feels very, very, very different than what I've personally come to know and come to love from the Twisted Sisters. I think it's not my preferred style. I think it's a little bit slower also, and this is the first time I've read something that doesn't have a backing in like our world in urban fantasy. It's a whole made up world, and so is Zodiac Academy, but the first time you meet those characters, it is on Earth in our city, and I think there's a little bit of familiarity to how those characters are, even the Zodiac Academy students, because they feel like they could technically live on our Earth. And this is like the first like real 100% nothing correlates to our world. This is a brand new series for them that I've read, at least. I don't know if any of the other series kind of feel that way. I've read Zodiac Academy and prequel. That's a Why Choose. I think Ruthless Phase, the name, is the other thing that I have personally read. I am not loving this. I'm actually deciding to DNF it. I decided last night. I was listening to it and I was like, yeah, this is not for me. I was struggling with the physical book. It took me about 3 hours to read to chapter 4, which is 40 pages in, and I can typically read that in 1 hour. And I wasn't like losing concentration. I wasn't doing other things. I was just rereading passages over and over again because my brain was just like not comprehending, which was partially probably me and the mood I was in, but also then I was like, I'm gonna switch to the audiobook because typically if I'm struggling visually, I can listen and and that'll be fine. But I didn't like the audiobook. The narrator just doesn't feel how I pictured this main character, and I don't know, I didn't vibe with it. And I also didn't like the male narrator, and he is the same narrator that does Zodiac Academy, but he gave me the ick really quickly in this one, which I love him in Zodiac Academy, so like that's kind of weird. But I think overall this isn't a story for me. I think it'll be a story for a lot of people. It has more of a typical Fae story setup. We're following our main character who lives in a village on the border of some scary thing. Like, they can't cross over into the forest or else bad things will happen. They'll never come back. Anyone who's gone there literally ends up never coming back, and they hear the screaming in the middle of the night. And this forest is like growing and encroaching on the human territory, and on the other side they have the Fae border, and they can't pass over that too. There's mysteries about the Fae, there's stories and legends about how awful they are. But every 50 years the forest opens up and there's a trial, essentially. A hunt is what it's called, where someone could get the boon of the forest, and the humans think that this is their saving grace, so they train like champions for it. It sounds like the Fae also do, so the Fae are also struggling through this, but I don't think the humans know, but we know that pretty quickly when we get his POV, in my opinion. And I feel like I've read that story too many times at this point, and there are stories that have done it better for me than what this is doing. There's main characters I feel more attached to. I think the world building felt a little bit messy for me, and I don't know, I wasn't vibing at all, which is so surprising for me. I really didn't like his POV either. Like, when we switched to the guy, I just didn't like him. And I think that that's a bad sign. And then when they get together, I didn't feel chemistry. I didn't feel this instant, like, oh my god, this like banter, this tension. I think I don't really like a true enemies to lovers. I think I'm starting to like really realize how much I love reluctant allies to lovers, and they're not becoming reluctant allies. I think this would work so much better for me if they were like, let's team up. And they might eventually, but in those first couple scenes, she was kind of his prisoner, and like he knew something was different with her right from the start, and like his feelings like changed on her. Like, he looked at her and he's supposed to be this ruthless Fae that even the Fae hate, and he looks at her and he doesn't kill her, and he like goes soft on her, and there's something there. Like, he like instantly kind of is attracted to her and like has like a connection with her, and I really don't like those stories. I said this in one of my last vlogs that like when it comes to like soulmates and like fated mates, I like the fated mates where like you learn about it later on and it just is like, oh, everything made sense. I don't like when it's like they look at each other and they realize that that's their person, because I guess I don't really believe in that. I don't believe in like love at first sight. I believe in like attraction, and I believe like in like connection, and like I believe in like sexual tension at first sight for sure. Like, I've walked by and thought someone was hot. Like, I get it. I don't believe that there's only one true soulmate for all of us. I don't believe that at all, but I think for me it works more for me when like we saw them fall in love and it feels like their choice, versus when it's just like it clicks and there's like a bond there and they can't seem to look away. I just don't tend to love that, and this feels like it's gravitating toward this. I'm really angry because this is stunning and beautiful. Like, I love this edition so much, so I was really hoping to love this, but at one point I was like, oh, I'll just finish it, and then I was like, I don't know why I'm listening to this. Like, I'm not enjoying it, and we don't have time for books like that. Even if I bought them, even if I hauled them, there's so many more books out there that I want to enjoy, so we are getting rid of this one. Which brings me to my next polls. I actually put 2 polls up. I'm only going to talk about the one that I think I'm going to start. I put one on Instagram and one on YouTube because I wanted to make sure all of my communities everywhere I go had like a chance to pick my books this week. I think it's fun to get everyone involved. I love having participation. I love that people care enough. So my YouTube one is the one I'm about to start, because the audiobook one, but I need to remind you that I put both of these out at the same time because you will see crossover books. There's one book that I clearly wanted to read that crossed over them. But for the YouTube one, I decided just to do book names. I thought that was the easiest way, and I tried to put things that I would listen to the audiobook for. So I put City of Ashes by Cassandra Clare, Best Offer Wins by Marissa Cashino, and Speak of the Demon by Stacia Stark. And right now, it's only been up for 30 minutes, but I really want to start an audiobook, so I'm gonna call it, I think. I need to go screenshot it for picture purposes. But it's at 59% for City of Ashes, and I really don't see that like changing just by how like great the divide is. I don't think the other two have a chance of picking back up. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think I can call it at City of Ashes, which is the next book in the Cassandra Clare series that I'm reading for the first time. I actually just finished finished book 1 in last week's vlog, so I am really excited to dive back in. My favorite way is to marathon a series. Like, it's literally the last book I finished before DNFing Hollow, so I'm really excited to get into it. I gave the first book, it was between a 3 and a 4. I couldn't decide in my vlog. I think I'm gonna give it, I think it's technically a 3.5 rounded up to a 4, so a 4 overall. But I'm excited to see where the story goes. I have watched the TV show multiple times, and I've even seen the horrible movie. I do like the TV show though, so I'm excited to see the changes in this one because I've heard it starts to change. And yeah, that's my update for you right now. A new Dirty Soda location opened up about 10 minutes from my house, which is dangerously close. So Nick and me went today. I ended up getting 2. I don't know if anyone else is like this, but I was like, I can't pick, and I feel like I always end up just getting the one that I know I'm going to like. Every single time I go somewhere, like I want to order the drink, then I'm like, this will be good because I'm in the mood for a good drink, but then I also want to try things. So instead of getting 1 medium-sized, I ended up getting 2 small ones so that I could try the flavors. I already drank the good one, I'm not gonna lie, which was a Dr. Pepper with birthday cake sweet cold foam on top and some sprinkles, and it was to die for. It literally kind of exploded all over me, but it was delicious.
Do you want it vertical or horizontal?
Horizontal, please.
Jessie had an absolute splooge attack.
It's good though.
She's got a milk stash.
And then this one is a Georgia peach, which I'm not the biggest fan of. And then I ended up putting cream in it when I got home to see if I would like it a little bit better. Because I do think I like dirty sodas a little bit more with cream, because that's like the whole point of them. Not just with like fun syrups. And this one's just root beer, peach puree, Minute Maid lemonade, and a fuzzy peach, which is at the bottom. And once I added cream, it kind of tastes like medicine. And I don't really like this one. So I'm happy I got 2. Like, I feel like I made the right choice getting 2 drinkies. Nick laughed at me, but was like, you do you. I mean, I kind of got 3 because I also drank some of his. But I do need to update you on City of Ashes because I have made a good dent into this. Libby is telling me that I'm on chapter 8. Let's find this in the book. Hello. Oh, that's chapter 9. That's close enough, right? I'm somewhere in the middle of chapter 8. So I'm 170-ish pages in. So as I said, a good dent. It reads so quickly. These stories really do. I was shocked in this one because I feel like we instantly are in a POV that I was not expecting. I wasn't expecting this to be as multi-POV as it is. I thought we'd definitely stick really with Clary most of the time. And we open up in someone else's head, and we have a couple other scenes from this new character that we're seeing. And I don't think that was preferred for me. I think I would have preferred just to stay in Clary's head, and that is what the main point of view is in this. Like, it is the most predominant point of view. We only switch like every once in a while, which sometimes bothers me more. I personally prefer either alternating POVs or one POV. Like, I don't like when I randomly jump into someone's POV. It's always made me feel less connected to the story. I think it's because it feels like I'm not the person that I'm reading. I'm not like inside their brain and in the story. I can like jump around a little bit, and with alternating POVs, although I am jumping around, I still feel like I'm in that person's head a little bit more. I'm only seeing the story through those 3 characters or 4 characters' eyes, which I think is why alternating POVs work for me a little bit better, versus just swapping into someone's POV feels like overarching and less personal to me. So that is something I critique quite often in books that I'm like just not the biggest fan of. It's not making me like the book less, but I think I could like the book more without it. So that's kind of a weird thing. This one picks up pretty quickly after the end of the first one, and I am enjoying it so far. Still not seeing a predominant amount of changes. I think my biggest issue is that I don't really like Simon in the books, and I do think I liked him in the TV show, but he wasn't my favorite character. Maybe I didn't like him in the TV show either. It's just been a while. Also, I tend to touch my nose when I'm thinking. My poor widow nosy. I don't have a lot of thoughts. I feel like this is just like a fun time read. I'm feeling kind of similar to book 1. Like, I like it, I don't love it, but I'm also like really intrigued and enjoying my listening of it because I am listening to the audiobook. That's also why we're in the kitchen, because I have a dirty dish to wash. I made Cajun chicken in like this brothy rice with a cucumber salad last night, and it was delicious. But this is what my pan looks like. And yes, I could use aluminum foil, but I didn't. So now I need to scrub this thing clean, and that's gonna take me a while. I also need to figure out what we're eating for dinner tonight. I was thinking steak and potatoes, but I had a really good win last night. Like, this was an experiment for me, and both Nick and me really did enjoy it. I found it just on TikTok, and I'm like, when I have a win like that, I kind of want to do it again. And like, I like steak and potatoes, but they're like like safe, you know? And I'm like, what if we tried something fun again and new? But I'm also, it's like 1:20 and I don't have meat out to thaw yet. So I feel a little bit behind. So I might do some TikTok searching to see if there's any good recipes that come up and like really like grab my attention, because something like yummy again would be really good. And I have nothing going on tonight, so this would be a really like good night for me to do it, versus tomorrow night I have sprints on Deja's channel and then the weekend readathon starts. So like tonight is the night that I'm like, I could spend time cooking, which is also what happened yesterday. But yeah, yesterday's was such a win. It was so good. I definitely will be repeating that in this house. It was honestly pretty easy. It took me longer because I was like learning what to do and I had to really read the recipe. But now that I know it, I think I could make it a lot quicker next time. And also I had to make Cajun seasoning from scratch because I didn't have any pre-bought. And I have all the other things. I'm typically an ingredient household, not a like pre-made household. So like I like to have like all of the things to make like a Italian spice or a Cajun spice in my cupboard. I don't necessarily always have Italian spice in my cupboard, but I could make it from scratch. That's who I am. I really do like to cook. I really, really do. So if I remember, maybe I will show you what I ate for dinner tonight, or like take you along and cook with you or something. Back to reading. Guys, I really fucked up. I made like a little cucumber salad to go with dinner, and there's jalapeno in it, and I touched the jalapeno, and then I touched the like corner of my nose like right here, and it really burns. But I am really excited for dinner. We're having Korean short ribs for dinner with wild rice and a cucumber salad and a bean sprout salad, and I think that's gonna be literally delicious once this stops burning. I look like a literal mess, but I know the sword. I literally just had it under the tap. It's a phone update kind of day because I'm just doing some work and listening to the audiobook this morning, and I haven't gotten ready yet since we have Peace Talk sprints tonight. I want to get ready a little bit closer to them so that like, and I like when my makeup like looks fresh when I go on sprints. I know that's kind of probably random and weird, but like if I'm gonna have this many people watching me, and like, well, I may as well be slaying, you know? And sometimes I like to film on my phone when I have no makeup because my camera is really good quality and it's really great, but you don't need to see every pore on my face sometimes. But anyways, I am listening to the audiobook of City of Ashes. I think I'm 66% in. I don't really have thoughts. It's been really hard to update you guys because I'm just kind of vibing. I don't love these personally. I am going to read the next book because I'm trying my hardest to get to the later books because I've heard they're where it gets really good. Currently, don't strike me down, I don't think it's any different than the show. Hot take probably. Plot point for plot point for plot point. I feel like I've seen this entire story in the show already, and I think the show does it better. I feel like there's more depth to me with the show. I feel like I don't think that there are a lot of deepness in this writing so far. I think Clary specifically is very one note for me, but I do think she was kind of one note in the show as well, but like all the other characters felt way more fleshed out to me in the show than what I'm getting in here, and part of that is just like Clary's perspective. I also kind of hate every time we switch into Mia's perspective. I don't understand why we just swap into her perspective sometimes. I think we got a Jace POV the other day too, and I was just like, I don't need that. Like, I don't like random POV switching, and that's on me. So yeah, I don't really have a lot of thoughts other than like I'm just trying to enjoy it as much as I can. I think it's a 3-star, but I am very excited. I want to get to the Clockwork series, which is the next one, because I've heard that is literally god tier, and I'm like, I need to know. Everyone I've talked to has said like keep going, like it gets better. And so like I realized that like these might be 3-star books for like the later books in the series to be some of my all-time favorites, and I'm a reader who is okay with that right now because I'm still enjoying this. Like for me, a 3-star still means I'm enjoying it, I'm having fun, I'm not like hating my time reading it. But I do think I need to binge read it. I think I might try and get the 3rd book done in the 48-hour as well, so that like I don't like forget everything that's happening and I just like want to continue. I feel like if I give myself space from this, I probably wouldn't continue. And I am a reader like that in general, so it's okay for me to just like feel that way. Also, I have a cat on me and a cat up here, and it's a good ass day. Oh, I also finished the genre blanket. I'll have to show you that in the next clip that I finished this. This is last year's genre blanket. It's finally done. I actually think that I forgot to tell you what my points for Hollow were for realmathon, so I want to do that right now. I've decided to attack this year. I just thought it'd be fun, and since I know that I'm only reading 2 books this week, since it is the last day that I'm filming this on for this week, I'm gonna use a spinner wheel to figure out who I'm attacking, just to make it a little bit more fair, versus last week I attacked every single team because I read 3 books. So let's just get that spinner wheel on the screen and hit go. Who am I attacking? Oh, if I didn't say, I'm also on clerics this week. Oh, we're gonna be attacking the paladins with this one. Dang. Now, even though I did DNF this, I got 156 pages. And for me, that's a good enough chunk for me to feel like I can count this. I don't read that many books in a month. This feels realistic to my reading of like, I made a good indent in that. And that's all I ask for realmathon. Just be fair with what you do. Like, that's all I literally ask. So maybe don't DNF and count a book at 10 pages in, but I feel like 150-ish pages, someone could have read an entire book. So I would count my DNF pretty good at 150. Feels fair to me. So that's why I'm counting it. Now with my DNF, I'm only going to submit the pages I read. So I won't get any page count bonuses with this, even though it's a chunky book. I only read 150 pages. So that's all I'm submitting for pages. Okay, we are attacking the paladins. As always, I scroll all the way down first just to make sure I get the best ones. There is no icon between. Oh, there is. There is an icon. Look right here. There is a little dragon right there. So we get that. Sadly, this is the only book by these authors that is not part of the Zodiac Academy world, so I don't get that one. If I roll the d6, it's a 4, so that doesn't count, sadly. It's a one-word title, so there is no the anywhere in the title. I think this author only writes in romantasy. I technically read this in one sitting. I DNF'd it all in one day. Our character does have a hidden identity in this one, and it was a 5-star prediction. It was in my video for 5-star predictions, so those are those points. It is a competition/trial setting. I can't comfortably say a book centers around good versus evil or a guilty pleasure book at this point in time because I did DNF it. So those are my points for this. Now, before we get to the ending clips, before I finish my next read with you, I have secrets to share. As always with my secrets, please give an hour before you talk about it in Discord. I just want to make sure that anyone who wants to find out by themselves and wants to watch our videos to find out has the ability to do that. They will know to kind of like run to YouTube to watch it or to ignore Discord, you know? So please do not share anything I say in Discord for at least an hour. And then when you do share, use spoiler tags. So that can be done with 2 vertical lines on either side of your writing in order to spoiler tag it so that someone has to click on it to see what you said. So please respect that. As always, I share secrets, but I am also sharing secrets with hosts to share secrets in their vlogs. So you could find out a lot of fun things from watching vlogs. And this is always a really good way to encourage everyone to watch our content because we do put a lot of work into this and they don't get a lot. Really, YouTube is paying us so little that like it's just like a good way to like encourage audience engagement and audience views and like feeling like what we're doing matters in a way. So this is why I do all of that. And I think it's a lot of fun. I feel like it's fun to see like watch Fuel's videos and like hear about all of it and like put all the pieces together about what I want my strategy to be, and watching it all go down in the private chats in Discord as well is a lot of fun. So thank you to everyone who does watch our videos. Thank you to everyone who doesn't mind supporting us in this way. It really means a lot to me. So the secret. This time you get who is in 3rd place. And so going into the Gala of Peace, which is the 48-hour readathon this weekend, 3rd place at the time of me looking, it's so close. Like, I'm telling you right now that it is so close that if I looked in 5 minutes, it could be someone else. But in 3rd place at the time of me looking is the clerics. Take that as you want. It's not too late to participate in realmathon. You can participate all month long and just backlog everything you read. Like, if you want to join on the last day and backlog all your books, you can do that. And this year I'm using unique usernames to find the average of each team. And so if someone signs up and they don't read anything, it doesn't hurt your team at all. So like, don't worry about it. Just tell everyone to sign up and have fun. That's like the end of the day. I just want people to have fun. So yeah, that is the Hollow update. That is your little secret. And I'm very excited for the next weekend. I think things are spicy. I literally think this is the closest realmathon we've ever had. Like at this point, it's anyone's game. Like truly anyone's. The numbers are changing like crazy. But let's go finish my book. There's so much natural light in my house. I think I'm gonna be overexposed no matter where I go. But I wanted to update you on my blanket because I said it was done. And there we go. Technically, I still need to like weave in the ends, like sew those in. But I'm not gonna lie, every year I've done this, I've made my sister do that for me. And so I need her to come do it. And this is it. It's, oh, there's a cat on it. It's massive. Can you see it? It's gonna be so cozy. I'm so excited. This is probably my favorite year for colors. I really do like the colors in this one. However, it is probably my least favorite stitch I've done. I did a double crochet back loop only, and I think that it's just so like stretchy and like a little bit thinner, so the ends don't weave in as well, because when I change colors, I don't cut them off, I weave them in, and I think you can kind of see them sticking out. And I had this happen with another blanket of different yarn that I used the same kind of stitch for. So I think even though I love the way the stitch looks, when it comes to switching colors, I either need to change how I do that if I do this stitch, or just never switch colors. Because like I do love like the way it looks like here, but like you can see these so easily, and that kind of bothers me a little bit, but it's okay. It's gonna probably go to my cabin and I'll see it every couple weeks, every like once a month, maybe not even that. Since the colors don't really fit my vibe, I think I need to make like a brown and green blanket for my house, because that would fit really well with like the vibe I go for. One of the things I seem to really like about this book is the inclusion of adult characters. I like that in a YA story specifically, but honestly in any like story with like a main character who's like younger and going through life experiences, like even in the books with like 20-year-olds or 30-year-olds, I always wish there was more adult inclusion. I kind of get why there can't be, because a lot of times like why would a real good parent let these things happen, or would he like they would be sacrificing themselves for you? But I think this is done really, really well, where we do see Clary's mom in like a way a little bit, and like she maybe will have a bigger part to play like later down the line, I guess. But we have adult parents that make sense. We have the parents of the demon hunters, and they're raised in the society where demon hunting is a thing. So you have to let your kids like go out and do these things. And I think we still get to see them be parents. At times they're still protective of their children, but they also are in this like culture that's like, yes, go out and fight and like do it safely and we'll handle the big bads. But obviously like, the kids are not like letting their parents handle the big bads. But every time it's come up, it's very natural that the kids have this reason why they're going to do things, or they're like going behind their parents' backs or things like that. Like it feels so natural. And then also we have Luke, who's like a parent figure, but he also has these like boundaries he's trying to follow because of who he is to Clary and Clary's mom, and with like the whole shadow hunter experience and things like that. And I feel like we see him parent, but like trying to not overstep in a way, which leads him to maybe letting them do things that maybe he shouldn't. But also he's still part of this culture that he was like born and raised in, where like the young are shadow hunters and you have to give them experience, because otherwise they would die when they're older. Like they need those life experiences. And I think it's really, really well done. And I've enjoyed every inclusion of an adult character or a parent character or things like that. And I think that that makes this feel a little bit more fleshed out in terms of like society for me. But one thing I dislike is the lack of attention to the side characters, and part of that is from me watching and enjoying the TV show. I feel like the TV show includes them so much more. There's a romance that happens and you get to kind of see snippets of it, and I wish we saw that more. As I said, I've complained about this being like random POV switching. I actually wish this alternated POVs. I think Clary is a boring main character to follow. I don't think that she is the most exciting to follow, but I also understand why we follow her. But I think specifically in this book, it would have been cool to add a second POV that rotated, or a third POV, and like every book maybe go up in POVs. as stories started to be more developed and more interesting, but I want them to rotate. I want them to be predominant cast POVs, not just like every once in a while. I really think being able to see those romance POVs would have made more sense because I feel like I know more about it and I was like picking up on things and like wanting it because of the show. But there's a scene at the end of this that I think would have felt really random to me if I hadn't seen the show and known what to expect in that. Another thing I do love though is how good the Easter egging is in this. How good the like twist and like plots are in this, because there is a twist in this that I know because of the show, and it's like a really, really big twist. And as I'm reading, I'm like, oh, you could figure this out. Both times there were like little snippets of like little moments made or comments or descriptions of things where I was like, yes, you could definitely figure out all the twists in this if you were paying attention. And that is world building, that is crafting, that is writing done so well for me. Your twists need to still shock me, but they need to be there. Like if I reread a story, I need to have seen that I could have guessed this correctly if I had just been paying attention to like those things. And I wasn't paying attention to those things because there's other things happening, and that's also brilliantly done. But I do think that this is crafted really, really well in terms of all of those things. I also just think the endings end on a high. I feel like every time I finished one of these books, I felt more excited about the book than I probably felt in the middle or like while I was just like listening to it at like 60-70%. But these endings are pretty good, like resolution cliffhangers. They're not like drop dead, like mouth open, how can I not go on cliffhangers for me, but they are still a cliffhanger that makes me want to continue because there's like things that are left unsaid that I know will be said in the next book. But I also got a lot of information and I'm like, oh, I like that in a book. I like to feel like I'm going to end up with information. I'm not going to be just left hanging until the 6th and final book. I want each book to have some sort of resolution, to have information to feed me a little bit, but also open up questions for the next book. And I feel like this does that really, really well. I think they're really well crafted in terms of all of that. I lack a little bit of depth of character in my opinion. I think Clary is a boring main character to follow, especially because there's no like agency to her for me. Like I would have been in this position and kind of forcing people to teach me things. I feel like it's weird to me that she isn't like trying harder to like understand the world a little bit more. She just kind of like lets things happen to her in a little bit. I kind of wish she was a little bit more doing things herself, like taking action, being like having agency in the story. But that's my personal preference, and I could have followed many other characters, which I think is kind of why I prefer the TV show a little bit, because the TV show follows everyone in a way that a TV show has to. You can't just follow one character. I'm not just in one character's head, which I know makes really weird sense with the fact that I hate the random POVs, but I feel like that's because we're not following those characters. They just feel random to like help with the fact that Clary's boring. I think I'm giving this like a 3.5 again. I think this one probably rounds down to a 3 for me more than a 4. I think I wanted more out of this story than I got. I think I wanted more change out of this story than I feel like I got. I feel like I'm expecting the books to adapt from the shows, and this is probably on me and my own expectations. The cats are going wild back there. And maybe I shouldn't have those expectations, but it's hard when everyone tells me that the show is so different and I'm just sitting here and I'm like, where? I've seen this story before. Like all the plot points feel like the real plot points to me that I saw in the show. And so that's kind of on me, and I probably need to change my expectations going into the third one. But as I said, I really like this world building. I love every time I find out a little bit more about it. I think it's very intricate. It feels very detailed. It feels very like all encompassing. I feel like this could be our world. Like I could be living in this and I would just not know. And I think that's really cool and really interesting. In some ways, it kind of reminds me of when I was a little kid, I was obsessed with Fablehaven, where like they have to drink the like water, like this like concoction in order to see all of like the fairy world and stuff. And obviously that's not what we're doing, and that's not just like a Fablehaven thing, but I loved Fablehaven for that idea of like there could be a garden, like there could be all these fairies in my world, I just haven't drinking the concoction yet. And I feel like this also hits that, and I do really, really enjoy that. I don't know, I have mixed feelings because there's things I like, there's things I don't like. I think it's really easy to read. I still think it reads far too young for my personal preference. Everyone says first 3 books read young, and then I'll feel it, like I'll get the more adult, especially when I go into Clockwork Angel. So overall, excited, interested. We do need to attack someone with this. I'm not taking anyone off, so we could attack the same team this time, which is kind of fun. Okay, what are we gonna get? Oh, I jinxed it. We're attacking the paladins again. Well, I guess the clerics are out to get the paladins. but it's just me. There is no icon on this spine. This is one of those stories that has a book that has an interconnected world / series. Obviously, like Clockwork Angel is a brand new series, but it's in the same world. Same with the Dark Artifices. I don't have a die with me, so we're gonna skip that. There is no "the" in the title. I'm gonna say a character has a hidden identity. I don't really know if I can say what I think it is because it might be a spoiler. This was more pages than the last book I read, if I'm counting the first book. I believe this is longer, at least I'm assuming so, because most second books are longer than the first one. It was a recent haul, and that's 5. This also does not have a competition / trial setting, but it does center around good versus evil, and I'm gonna count it as a guilty pleasure book because I have nostalgia for the TV show when reading this. And those are my submissions. Wasn't the best reading week for me personally, but also I just really struggle with weekly reading vlogs, and this was a short week. I have a hard time forcing myself to read if I'm not in the mood to read, which is why I average 2 to 3 books a week, but there are weeks where I read 4 books, there are weeks where I read 1 book, and when it comes to weekly reading vlogging, I feel a lot of pressure on myself to read, especially for this when I'm reading for points. 2 is my goal. 2 is my goal for every single team, and if I exceed that, great. If I don't, that's also okay, but 2 is my goal, and I will count DNFs. Like, I just want to give points out to a team twice. So overall, I'm going to call this week a success, and I'm excited to go into the 48-hour readathon, which starts in 4 hours for me. I'm probably going to edit this video and watch an episode of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives because season 4 just came out, and I have been binging it. I watched like 5 episodes yesterday, which is also why I didn't read the third book, even though I had a poll for the third book. Just pretend you never saw that poll ever happen. And then I'm gonna get to reading for that vlog. If you want to see the first weekly reading vlog, I'll leave it on the screen for you to check out, and then I'll also leave the realmathon announcement in case you missed it and you still want to participate, because as I said earlier, you can still participate. And if you'd like to leave me an emoji just to say you were here, leave me a fire emoji for ashes, and have yourselves an absolutely remarkable day.